Hello, explorers, and welcome to episode 66. This week, we are talking about everything that was shown at D23, and we're also doing our own special Order 66. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 66. As always, giving the orders and taking in bounties, warm or cold, it's the Uncleorian himself. It's Jimmy.
Howdy.
How's your week been, Jimmy?
It's been fun. Lots of arts and crafts at the Adams household this week.
Nice.
It was either do that or get ready for school, and so I went with the arts and crafts. So,
Brilliant.
How about you, Jack?
Yeah, not too bad. Gearing up, ready to go away. We're flying out on Tuesday, so I'm going to be away in a different country again. I should hopefully try and get some internet where I am and try and get on. But you might not hear from me for a week or so. But Jimmy's going to be all over the socials as usual. So, yes, I'm looking forward to going away for a little bit, buddy.
That'll be good. Your wife deserves it for you to go away for a little bit.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah.
And as always, again, a massive shout out to everybody that's come and joined all the explorers on all our social media platforms. As always, then, it's Jimmy's time to shine. Here we go.
And as always, I'm going to apologize in advance for any of these that I jack up, although these ones don't seem too bad. I was supposed to ask you, my wife wants to know if when I say, jack this up, if that offends you because your name is Jack.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
That's good. I told her you weren't a sensitive Nancy, so we should be all right. He's a military man. But, all right. We've got Multi-Fandom of Madness, which is a fun name. The Chef Killer, VCN, Dan, Marvel Comics, Gian Mateo, Magus Nunn, which I think is a friend of mine from back in high school, Alex D., Dr. KZ74, Warhammer 18, that's a good one, Bozo Kyle, Doozy, Brandon Chalmers, Sean Ian, Ryan Patel, John Abbott, Leon Cummings, David Sinclair, and Tom Jarrett.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you to everybody that has joined. If you wish to join in the fun and come and join our community on any of the social media platforms, then why not search Explore the Force, all one word, on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, Threads, and we're also on YouTube. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Explore the Force, all one word. Now, before we jump into the Force encounters, we do have a special shout out to Jaden. Little Jaden had a little accident on a bike. Essentially, it's one of the listeners' sons, one of Luke Summerfield's lad, had a horrible, nasty accident, and it's an absolute miracle that he's only come away with bumps, scratches, and grazes. But us here at Explore the Force, Jaden, hope you get well soon, buddy. Hope it doesn't put you off going back on the bike. And again, just get well. Wishing you all the best from us guys and girls at Explore the Force. So, Jimmy.
Those Welsh rugby players are built different, Jack.
Yes, he's an animal. He's an absolute animal. This week's Force Encounters. Okay, so I know what Jimmy's Force Encounter is going to be, and I'm pretty sure a lot of listeners do. So mine's quite short and sweet because I can't wait to hear how the Uncleorian got on. So, mine, nice and short. Bit of Star Wars Unlimited action, started pricing up some cards, and one of the cards that I had this Darth Vader on Hyperspace. I looked at it online, and someone had got one graded at a 10 mint, worth $500. They're asking for
what?
$500. Unreal.
Is that rare of a card?
I don't know. I don't think it is. It's rare, but and it's a Hyperspace, so yeah, it's a little bit more rare than rare.
Yeah.
$500. Any listeners out there want to buy mine, I'll give it for $200. That is ridiculous. $500.
Wow.
But yeah, apart from pricing up some Star Wars stuff, I've been looking at my Imperial Assault stuff. Me and Jimmy obviously keen as well to start getting this Unlimited League sorted, so we are going to be looking at that. We keep saying it is coming, it is happening. So yeah, just look out for that. But yeah, less about me, more about the Uncle Orion. Let's go.
Oh man! So my nephews, their birthdays are both in August, right? So they kind of typically we celebrate one, we go to dinner for them, then we go back to their one of the homes and we have dessert, and then sometimes they'll do things together. Well, this year they decided to do a Nerf battle party.
Nice.
And so this I started prepping for this a while ago. So we got on Facebook Market, and people sell Nerf guns like, I mean, it's crazy what you can get. I think I spent $45. This kid wanted new ones, and his dad's like, well, if you want new ones, you have to sell your old ones, and he did. I probably got 15 guns for $45. And if you look these things up, I mean, there's so much, and there were so many people selling them. But then, so we started there, and kind of figure some stuff out. We had that big massive gun you'll see in the photo. I really couldn't use that against the kids because it was Nerf Unlimited or Ultimate or whatever, Rivals, I think it's called. And it has like dimpled balls and it shoots a lot faster. And we tested it out on each other, Molly and I did, and it kind of stung a little bit. So we're like, we're not going to shoot each other. But and then we took it a step further. We were watching something. We all these DIY stuff on our YouTube's channels or our subscriptions and things we subscribe to, and one of them was building Mandalorian armor out of cardboard. And I was like, man, I'm not super crafty, but my wife is insanely good at doing all that stuff, so she helped me a ton. We found Dustin McLean and his easy DIY cardboard Mandalorian suit and armor. Now, we did run out of time trying to build the helmet. We were going to try to build the bucket. That was going to be a little bit more complicated. But we just kind of ran out of time. If I can remember, I'll put the link to it. Super fun if you want to do this with your kids. And it looked pretty good.
It did look good.
I built the chest plate with the extra stomach pad. I put we put the shoulder, I don't even know.
Pauldrons.
The pauldrons. We built both of the greaves.
Gauntlets.
Yeah, man, those are the gauntlets, and those were pretty cool. I adjusted mine a little bit. Then we built Molly and I both built battle belts. So I had a holster for my pistol. I had a pistol behind my back I could pull out and blast kids with. Just loaded, and then we ended up like velcroing it, like hot gluing it onto shirts and velcroing it, and we had an absolute riot. My nephews, we were there. I thought 2 hours nerfing would be a long time, but man, it flew by, and all the uncles and lots of kids and their parents were out there playing. We had fun. We did have one round that was just adults, so I got the big gun out, lighting fools up. But yeah, it was a blast. It's fun. Kids got a kick out of it. It was kind of fun to do that, and like I said in my intro, was either do that or get ready for school. So I went with the arts and crafts instead. But I love a nice hot glue gun these days. I'm wild with it. So look out.
Nice ideas for Celebration Japan, I think.
There we go.
We should definitely do that. We should have like a sign above us and like we're the cheap Mandalorians or something.
Oh yeah,
Filoni's outcasts.
Mandalorians.
Yeah, Cardalorians or something. Oh, brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Awesome. Yeah, that wraps up this week's Force Encounters. Okay, so let's head over to Batu then, and we'll hear what news is coming out of there.
All right. As of recording, we're about 3 weeks away from Star Wars Outlaws, Jack, and
can't wait.
Where's your excitement level, man? Like, how are you feeling?
Out of 10, a 9.5. I can't wait for Star Wars Outlaws. I know there's obviously stuff about the maps not being very big or some of the planets. I can live with that. What I'm really on board with is lots of extra content that's coming afterwards as well. Massively on board with that. Can't wait for that. I know we're seeing Lando, Jabba's going to be in it, Hondo's going to be in it. I'm excited to see the storyline. There's new clans in there. I've been dropping loads of reels about it on our socials as well. So if anyone's unsure what clans are what, look on our Instagram. I've done loads of reels. I've grabbed them from IGN, so I don't take any credit for that at all. I'll place them all on there so people can look into it and understand what clans are in there. I'm so interested in the storyline. I'm looking forward to using Nyx. I can't wait, mate. I
Yes,
cannot wait.
And I was listening to Star Wars Explained. Was it Alex Damon and Molly Damon, and they got to go. They got flown out and they got to play for 4 hours. And they said they did so many side things. Like you can go on bet on like
Yeah.
5-year racing. You can play all those different games. Like he said, he kind of got wrapped up into that and didn't really play the story as much as he should have. But he's like, I played for 4 hours and it flew by. He seemed to have a lot of fun with it. And again, he's kind of in the same lane I'm at. Is we're not massive gamers, but it's Star Wars. We'll play it. So some of the people who've played it really like it. It's not going to be perfect. There's always going to be something that they could do better that people think.
Of course.
But this is a great start. I'm excited for the time period. I'm excited for, like you said, all the different clans and the storyline. And using Nyx is going to be awesome. I hope I hope it's not all like preset for us. Like I hope that we can, you can use your imagination a little bit, because they did say that. I know that they said sneaking around was kind of hard because he's not really good at that in video games, like sneaking around and doing things, and usually end up fist fighting or blasting somebody. But if you're sneaky, it really pays off in this game. So I'm pretty excited for it. Still mad. My only complaint right now is that it didn't come out in the summertime when I had all the free time in the world.
But, I know, right?
But yeah, so other than that, I'm pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty excited
for it. Can't wait for it. And another thing as well for me, next part of the news is Star Wars Celebration. Now, there's been a whole host of celebrity guests that have been announced. And for whatever reason, I literally cannot wait for Star Wars Celebration. And there has been some amazing guest announcements. So, some of the guests that we've got coming, as some of you will be able to see on the YouTube. So we've got Alan Tudyk, who was K2SO. Anthony Daniels, C3PO, is going to be there. Ashley Eckstein, voice of Ahsoka from Clone Wars and Rebels. Also coming in hot, again, speaking of Mandalorians, we've got Daniel Logan, young Boba Fett. Can't wait to meet him. I spoke to him before on the socials years ago as well, a few times. Great guy. Doug Chang is special effects, executive design director as well. Manny Jacinto, again, Cormier and the Stranger from The Acolyte. He's going to sell like hotcakes. A massive fan favourite is Tamora Morrison and Boba Fett. Again, I'm sure he'll be in amongst all the VOT clans or the cosplayers that are going to end up going there, especially Daniel Logan. I know them two together, an absolute tag team.
That'd be a good duo.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be a good duo photo op.
Yeah, they always put on a great show.
Me and you we can duo it because we can put two people in there. Me, you, and the Mandos. That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah, we should definitely do some cardboard Mandalorian stuff, I think.
So who are you most excited for? Like, if you could only go to see one of them and meet one of them.
Out of all those at the minute, Tamora Morrison, I think, personally.
And Morris. All right.
Yeah, Tim Morrison.
I've done Ashley Eckstein. She's awesome. Like, she's a blast to me. She's super friendly.
Yeah.
Alan Tudyk, he's just kind of popped up in my life recently. We've been watching The Rookie on Hulu, and he showed up in an episode of that out of the blue, and then started watching Resident Alien on Netflix, and he's the main character in that. It's pretty funny.
Nice.
So maybe I need to meet Alan Tudyk. I do love K2SO. Yeah. I would like to get some original artwork by Doug Chang signed. Like, that would be phenomenal.
That's
get something he's done. Get it signed. I listened to him speak at Anaheim, and he was so good. But yeah, all of these, I don't know if I want to pay Anthony Daniels money to meet Anthony Daniels. But
I met him in England.
Yeah, but Manny Jacinto, I want to get a Jags shirt and be like, "Oh, let's go Jags" or whatever, But I think you probably appreciate that. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm excited for those guests, and that's just getting started. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, what if Mark Hamill or someone showed up?
I don't think it will.
You don't think?
Nah, I don't think Mark Hamill's going to be there. Harrison Ford definitely is not going to be there.
No, he doesn't do any of that kind of stuff.
Mark Hamill's not going to be there. Warwick Davis would be one of the next ones to be announced, I reckon.
Yeah, probably. I bet you some of the people that were in Acolyte and some of the other shows, maybe even, you think like a Jude Law would show up? He's kind of big for that.
Jude Law, Daisy Ridley.
Oh, that would be great. Imagine all the kids from the Skeleton Crew. If it pops off, we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but if it pops off, that would be pretty fun to get a photo op with them. So, yeah, lots of cool stuff coming, and that'll be a steady stream from here on out until we go there.
Yeah.
But so And then, of course, D23, we're going to talk about the stuff that's not Star Wars related. We'll talk about one Star Wars related thing, and then we'll get into the main show, which that's going to be part of. But we had lots of exciting news. I was watching a guy who loves Star Wars live feed, Mike.
Yeah.
And he was getting stuff from like Instagram and from Twitter, things like that. And I was jumping back and forth watching him and doing this stuff. And so D23 that was huge. So Frozen 3 is coming out. Incredibles 3 is coming out. Toy Story 5, which sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Zootopia. Marvel stuff was mostly everything, I think, from San Diego Comic-Con. I do think there was some extra stuff from the Daredevil Born Again series that people didn't see. Avatar Fire and Ash, that looks pretty cool. And there were a bunch of other little things here and there for like Disney Plus. Lots of Star Wars goodness as well.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest news, is the silence from Lucasfilm about Acolyte Season 2 because, honestly, I was most hyped for Manny's interview because I thought, for sure they're going to announce it here. I forgot about it until this morning, and that happened on Saturday. We're recording on Sundays. I totally forgot about it. Found it, watched it was like 24 minutes, 25 minutes long. Nothing. So what do you think? Like all that stuff coming out, you've got kids. That's going to be exciting for you, right?
Yeah, there's lots of awesome stuff. Zootopia 2, Toy Story 5, and I've seen it's against Electronic Toys. I thought that was a brilliant little pitch.
Yeah, pretty funny idea.
Fantastic. Big fan of the Avatar stuff. I really like James Cameron stuff. I love the Avatar. Mm-hmm. Looking forward to that. What else really, apart from that? The Daredevil stuff, okay. Incredibles 3.
I like the Netflix. Did you watch the Netflix series?
Yeah. I
really
did like
that.
it. Frozen 3, I can't be doing more Frozen.
You don't want to build a snowman?
No, they need to let it go.
Unscripted. Whoa! We're going to start a comedy channel next.
Mark that one down on the clip. That's a highlight reel for sure. But no, apart from that, mate, to be honest, and like I said, we're going to cover it in the main shows, is the Star Wars stuff, let's be honest. That stuff, it took over D23, didn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, and that pretty much wraps up this week's news. Let's dive into that. Okay, so we spoke about D23, all the Star Wars goodness that was coming out of there, and there's lots of Star Wars awesomeness. We've got Andor Season 2, Mandalorian and Grogu, we've got Rebuild the Galaxy Lego, and obviously my personal favourite, the Skeleton Crew. Now, as you know, I wasn't that excited about the Skeleton Crew, but we will come on and talk about that a little bit more afterwards. I think the first thing that we're going to dive into, it's got to be Andor, hasn't it? It's got to be Andor first.
Yeah, I was. What did you feel about that? I'm trying to find the footage here. I'm not sure I'll be able to, but you've probably seen it on socials. But
yeah,
what'd you think?
Yeah, I can't wait for it. It looks amazing. I like what they've done with the. I like what they've done with the Andor timeline as well, because they've said after so many episodes, it's jumping a year by year. I think it's a space of
every 3 episodes is a year.
That's the one. Yeah. So I've got it in front of me. So they've got season 1 finale. That's 5 years before the Battle of the Yavin. Then there's a 1 year gap. Then it's 4 years Battle before Yavin. That's the first arc, so episode 1, 2, and 3. And that's all wrote by Tony Gilroy. Again, can't wait for that. And it's another 1 year gap. 3 years Battle before Yavin, arc 2, and that's written by is it Bew? Is that how you pronounce it? Bew Willimon?
Sure. You know how well I am at pronouncing names, so.
Yeah. Then there's another year gap, arc 3, written by Dan Gilroy, 7, 8, 9, 2 years Battle before Yavin. 1 year gap, and then it's the final arc written by Tom Bissell, 10, 11, 12, 1 year, 1 year before Battle of Yavin. And then obviously it's straight into Rogue One. So we know where it's starting from. We know where it's finishing. We know that K2SO's making an appearance. Exciting times for that, I think. Obviously all the normal characters are pretty much back. The actors that were in season 1 are back. Saw Gerrera. Oh gosh, name is escaping me at the minute. Oh God, who's the actor for Saw Gerrera?
Oh my gosh. Why? Why is it?
It's gone. My mind's gone completely blank. Yeah, so all the normal actors from Rogue One and from Andor, they're all making a comeback. I'm really excited, mate. I can't wait. What I will say as well,
Forrest Whitaker.
that's it. Thank you very much, Forrest Whitaker.
All right.
I just want to see all the ships in that as well. Like, I'm a Star Wars ship nerd. I'm excited, Jimmy. There's so much in the trailer. I love how it's stopping as well. Tony Gilroy in the footage is talking about each scene. And Diego Luna, I was lucky enough to meet them at Celebration. Shook their hand as well. They're very passionate about this, especially Diego Luna. You can see that.
Oh, you can feel it.
Yeah. One of the more things I'd like from Andor as well is I want to find out what's happening to the prisoners as well. From knocking out how many of them escaped. Are we going to see any of them again?
Andy Serkis. We're going to see Andy Serkis again.
Yeah, we're going to see his character come back. But overall, I can't wait for Andor 2. It looks amazing, mate. What about you?
Yeah, I am pumped. I hope that the episodes are at least 45 minutes. Yeah. That gives us like 2 hours and 15 minutes per year, roughly. If they're short. I don't remember the run times. I feel like they were longer than 30 minutes, most of them. Yeah. Can't remember off the top of my head. I just remember being on the edge of my couch for most of them. And of course, I did enjoy it a little bit more when I could binge it because it just, some of those episodes are slow and grinded.
Yeah, the slow burners.
But I like that about it. It's just, like, just whatever. It'd be cool if we were getting all three, like, but that would only be 4 weeks long then. So that's kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Like this will take us through and we'll have recaps and that'll be fun. Yeah, I'm super excited. Just the visuals and how big this TV show looks.
Oh, yeah.
And all the stuff people were complaining about the Acolyte, like there's no way that they can make some of these complaints just from seeing that stuff. It looks phenomenal. The story is going to be phenomenal. And I don't care that we know where it's going. Like there's no stakes for Cassian and K2, but everyone except for a few people, they can all die. Luthen, I mean, all these people who are building up, there's going to be some massive scenes. There's going to be some great. Think about the speeches that Luthen Rail gives multiple times throughout the first season. Just think about what his last moments is going to be like, most likely. So I'm super fired up for this. I can't wait. I think it said does it say March or something like that? I don't remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's super exciting. I'm ready for that. It's going to be great. I mean, there's just no way around it. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely agree, mate. And something else that was previewed as well, and it literally blew my mind, was the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Again, the footage is out there. Go and see it if you've not already seen it, if you can. What do you think on this, Jimmy?
I was surprised by how much. I mean, I know some of it was reused footage or whatever, but there's a couple things towards the end of that teaser clip. But it also concerns me, and I'm not trying to be negative. I think that a scale of this, and what Favreau. Think about what Favreau did with Iron Man. Who the hell? I mean, people want to talk like Iron Man's a part of our culture now, but prior to that, I mean, I would bet you 20 whatever years ago, you say, well, he was Iron Man. Like, no one's going to know Tony Stark's name. They might know the character Iron Man, but they're not. Yeah. So what Favreau can do with a movie. I'm a little concerned because they already have all this footage filmed that it's going to be real CGI'd. Because like that scene with the AT, was it AT-RT or something like that?
Yeah.
Like a little walker from the Clone Wars. But when they come around that corner and it was AT-AT, you're like, what the? So it looks great. I mean, spoilers if you haven't seen it. Zeb Aurelius is going to be in this. He's got a Razor Crest, it looks like. So that's nuts. There was so much. It happened so quick. Now, I don't know if we're supposed to have that footage or not. I think maybe it was someone from there who's gotten it because I don't think they showed it to everyone. Yeah. But I know it was up on like Twitter and things like that. I don't know. Maybe it was. It looks good. I'm excited for it. And unlike other people in this universe, I'm going to wait. I have concerns. But until I see it, I'll keep those concerns at a minute. I'm not going to, start screaming and preaching hate until they give me a reason to. So
Yeah.
but yeah, what about you? Like, are you excited for this? Like, I feel like
Oh
this is
man,
like you're gonna be pumped.
this is well up my street. This is for me.
Yeah.
I've just got Mando season 1 vibes, season 2 vibes. I cannot wait. Return of the Snowtroopers as well. At
Oh, I
last,
love
a
that.
bit more screen time on them bad boys. I am very curious as to what's happened to the N1 Starfighter, why he'd give that up, or if it's been blown up. I can't see it being blown up, because surely he'd have gone down with it. Who knows? But from the footage that we saw, action-packed, lots of action, lots of hands-on action as well. I'm going to say force food, but it's not, so more close combat stuff. I think it's the right term to use. Yeah,
Yeah,
the scene
more
with the
more straight
AT-AT
up
was,
traditional action, I would
yeah,
think.
yeah, it's grimy, it's dark, it got that space cowboy feel again. Um, really,
It's
really looking
going.
forward to it.
It feels like the first season of Mando.
Yeah,
Like it's going back to that. I mean, I think maybe they
yeah,
learned their lesson, but yeah, I knew you were going to be pumped when I wanted to message you, but it was like midnight. It was midnight my time, so I knew you would be getting up soon. I almost
yeah,
stayed up just to talk to you about it, but I figured we would talk soon. So
yeah. Nah, I'm massively up. I can't wait for it. I think we might see something in Japan. The only thing I will say about it, which I found odd, and this is dead picky, is two things. Is one, is it still called the Mandalorian and Grogu movie? Is there not a little title to it? Potentially not, to be honest. I don't know.
I think it's called The Mandalorian and Grogu, which I
Yeah.
think is weird.
But then the second thing is, and this is sort of a minor gripe, is I seen the footage or the images. If you look at all the Mandalorian seasons, with the logo, the Mando is always in the O. Yet for some reason in the movie, he's stood in the A. I think it is of the logo. So
Hmm.
I had them all lined up. But that's my OCD. So I've seen it all, and it's like Mando's in the O. You see what I mean? Have you
Yeah,
seen it
yeah,
now?
I'm looking for it. I'll have to look at that when we're done recording. But
Yeah,
yeah,
we'll try and get it up on the clip so everyone knows what I'm on about. But basically, the Mandalorian in the logo is on the O for everything else apart from the movie. But that's just me being really, really petty. But yeah, my OCD was kicking in there. And something else that I know's triggered a lot of people is Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy. I love this. For kids, it's fantastic. For people that love Lego that are big kids, Jimmy, it's fantastic. Uh, Darth Jar Jar, I mean, come on. What do you reckon?
oh yeah, I think this is gonna be. Yeah, it's four parts. It says I think.
Yeah,
Where is it at here? It's like
yeah. And Ahmed Best is doing the voice as well for Jar Jar Binks.
yeah, and it sounds Mark Hamill's back.
Yeah,
You got Bobby Moynihan doing Jedi Bob, which I don't
yeah,
know the full history of Jedi Bob. I've seen some stuff, but it looks like they're going to do a lot of crazy things. This trailer looks a lot of fun.
yeah,
Um, and the Lego movies always hit. Like the
yeah.
humor in them for kids, for adults.
That's
Um,
it.
and they just the clone troopers take off their helmets and it's all Mon Calamari guys and just different things like that. The X-wings and the Tie fighters and the
Yeah,
rebellion. So I'm curious as to how much stuff changes.
yeah,
Um, I like the scene with Luke recounting what happens to him in the prequel or in the sequel trilogy and being like,
yeah,
why would I want to come back? So
yeah.
yeah, I think there's a lot of cool stuff, and they didn't really show all white Vader either. So I'm
Nah,
interested to see like, is that going to be, is that going to be something different? Is that going to be like Leia or something? You know what I mean? Like, what are they going
yeah,
to change? Because I saw there was a thing with Princess Leia, and she was with like looked like Greedo, but he
yes,
was
yeah,
dressed like Han. And I was like,
yeah.
what's happening here? So I mean, it
I
looks
love it.
like they're going to have some fun. I'm excited for it. It's
Yeah,
cool. I'm not a huge what if person, but this looks like it's a lot of fun. And the fact that it's just silly, I can't wait. I can't wait to show it with my nephews and for my
exactly.
nephews
I
back
love it.
home, my niece, that I don't get to really get to hang out with that much. I hope that, they get to watch this and really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because it's just a gateway for kids
Oh,
to get
massively.
into Star Wars.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, a couple people
Absolutely.
we talked to, like their big thing was like Lego Star Wars as a kid, and that's what pulled them in. So you get a fun movie, or whatever, not a movie, it's 4 episodes or four, I don't know exactly what the terminology is.
Yes,
Um,
it is a strange one.
but it's coming out September 13th, so I'm assuming they're dropping all four at once.
No idea. No idea.
Yeah, I don't know if they ever really went over that. I'm kind of looking over the news here, and I don't see anything.
It is a strange one. It is a
But
strange one. You think how much money they're going to make on the Lego sets now? Oh my gosh.
Well, they have I know they have Dark Falcon, which I got ordered. I think I finally ordered it. Pulled the trigger on that bad boy. I saw a post. Ahmad Best was holding his because
Yes, I
he
put
got
it on
at Rebel
Instagram.
SimCon. He was talking about it, and he was like, "I can't wait." Because his favorite character is Han Solo. So he's like, I get to be the ultimate bad guy, and I get to fly the Falcon.
Yeah.
So he was pretty pumped, and but yeah, and then I think they have a set where the X-wings and the TIE fighters can switch
Yeah.
wings and stuff like that. So
I love it, mate.
yeah,
I can't wait for this.
I think it'll be pretty fun.
Yeah.
I think it'll be pretty fun.
Speaking of fun, Skeleton Crew. Last but not least, whole bunch of stuff was released. There was rumours about a trailer being shown. Again, we'll put it on the description for those that haven't seen it. If you haven't, just YouTube it. But yeah, Skeleton Crew. I'm slightly more excited than I was previously. And by slightly, I've gone from about a 4 out of 10 to about a 7.5 out of 10.
That's also from going from a 1 or a 0 to 4
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So if you've been following the podcast, to be honest, and I'm still honest now, I wasn't quite feeling it with the child actors. I just thought it was just going to be an absolute disaster. But after seeing this trailer, it's hard not to like it. I get where people are saying the Goonies vibe. I get where people are saying the Stranger Things vibe. But for me, it is that, but not that. I've got a different feeling. There's definitely a feeling of adventure, is what I'll say. And I definitely feel like this is a family Star Wars series as well. Super excited to see Wim Firm, KB, and Neil. Jude Law as well. Wow, Jude Law in Star Wars.
that's crazy that he's in this.
It's nuts. I mean, you look at Star Wars. Alec Guinness is probably the biggest Star Wars actor, or that was I want to say a ready-made actor that was in Star Wars. Apart from that, probably Ewan McGregor to a degree, I guess. But Jude Law is
yeah, I mean he's massive already. Star Wars helped Ewan McGregor. I mean he was becoming a star, but Star Wars really threw him to the forefront. But yeah, I mean that's massive, and lots of good things about him. But this trailer looked. I mean, I felt like I was back watching the beginning of Goonies or E.T. Like they said, that whole Amblin vibe. I think this is it. I mean, I think there's going to be some campy stuff because we're dealing with kids.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with it. I like the dark gritty. I'm really looking forward to Andor because it's that slow burn and it's really intense and it's big passionate speeches. This is going to be the complete opposite. There'll probably be big action. I still don't think that Judd Nar Wood or whatever his name is, Jude Law is actually a Jedi. I think he's more in the lines of what was the character's name from the Kenobi, the fake Jedi guy?
Yeah,
I think maybe he's more of a swindler than he is a real Jedi, or maybe he was kid. But anyways, I love it, and people are complaining that there's suburbs in Star. Of course, there's there's suburbs in Star Wars.
Where do people live?
How would there not be? There has to be a middle class. We hear about it in the books, these towns and things like that. I think it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
You got kids going to school. They're talking about this big test is going to define the rest of your life. So these kids are screw that. Let's go on an adventure. And that one kid, Wim, is obsessed with Jedi.
Yeah.
I
love it.
I love it. I can't wait for an actual trailer because I mean they're calling this a teaser trailer. It was about 1:40 long though, so I mean I would call it a trailer, but I'm pretty excited for it. And there's some big scenes, so we'll dive into them as they come out. We'll break them down and things like that. But yeah, I'm super excited. Mike, same concerns as you, Jack. Kids, what's the acting going to be like? But good storyline. You can forgive some acting when it comes to kids. Although I don't know how you do a season 2 with these kids. They're probably already a foot taller than they were when they filmed this because that was 2 or 3 years ago. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they managed to pull it off with Harry Potter, mate. So it's just keeping the kids looking not too old, I guess. Something else is we've got to remember as well. All this Skeleton Crew stuff you know, it's all coming to a point in the Mandalorian Grogu movie apparently as well, isn't it? So you got
Yeah,
Ahsoka stuff.
something with the Mandoverse, like it's supposed to all tie in. Like,
Mm,
I can't remember what the interview was. It was Favreau or Filoni or the
yeah,
two of them. And they were talking about like these characters are integral into some of these things that are going to happen in these
yeah,
movies and in this like Mandoverse thing, if you will.
yeah, exactly.
So
So
that would be cool. I'm excited for it. I just, I mean, I wonder how big of a role Jude Law is going to have in it because I mean they barely showed him, but I do understand like they were showing those kids to set up that tone. Like these kids want
yeah,
adventure, they're hating their life. It's like a midlife crisis for little kids, you
yeah, yeah.
know. So, and getting ready to go back to school, I'm like, yeah, I get it. I'd take off too and go on an adventure if I could.
I love the
So,
ship.
oh, the what is it? The Onyx
My,
Cinder,
my God,
I
yeah,
think it's
Onyx
called.
Cinder, Onyx
Yeah,
Cinder. Wow.
that looks cool. Um,
But
Yeah, the
yeah,
robot Shmi, which I think is funny because it's SM33, so you got a little nod to Peter Pan Shmi
yeah,
if you
yeah, yeah.
want. So that'll be fun. But yeah, I think it's great, and it didn't really show us anything.
No.
So we got some the footage, the stuff you put up earlier in the week. They had like some of the characters, and it looks like they're bringing the Wolfman
Mhm.
from the Cantina
Yeah,
scene from A New
yeah,
Hope's in this. Like that's awesome. Just some little callbacks here and there. When we broke
yeah,
down the with me and Mike and Tiara, we broke down all the photos that came out a while back, and they said there's a lot of Easter eggs sprinkled
yeah.
throughout these episodes. So that's gonna be pretty fun.
Fun times, fun times. Yeah, and the last thing, quite not disappointing because I guess they are quite super busy. Is been announced at D23 today that there's no new Star Wars animation shows. I'm not going to say I'm massively disappointed because I guess they are super busy with what's happening at the minute. How do you feel about it, Jimmy?
Um, I'm slightly annoyed if I'm being honest. I was looking
Mm,
forward to. There's got to be some. I hope there's got to be something with Asajj Ventress coming. Like, why did they bring
yeah,
her back? Like,
good
that's
shout.
insane. I hope that it wasn't, because that actress was saying stuff that she shouldn't have. But that didn't really hurt Disney, and it didn't really. She just said there was more coming. This is just the
Yeah,
warm up or whatever she told me. But yeah, I'm kind of bummed a little bit that we're not getting more. So, but
yeah,
it is like you said. We've got Skeleton Crew coming. Well, actually, first we've got Star Wars Outlaws, and then a couple days later we're going to have that Lego stuff
yeah.
that's coming out, and then we'll get through that, and we'll have um,
Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton Crew. That'll get us through. We'll have a month or so. We'll be into Andor season 2. So, and then you and I will be at Celebration. So, I mean, it's going to be a jam
Yes,
packed
sir.
8, 9, 10 months, whatever that is.
Yeah,
So yeah, disappointed, but I'm not sure. My brain, I'm not one of those ones who's like, oh, too much Star Wars is a bad thing. But um, if it's not ready, it's not ready. Which take their
yeah,
time, do it right. Let's go and let's have it
yeah,
ready and tied up. Tie into everything it should. So, but
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
mean, I didn't even think about it though. With all the news that came out,
Yeah. Quite
then
surprised.
that and no acolyte stuff. So,
Yeah,
womp womp.
yeah, yeah. Hmm. All right then. Okay, so let's move on to then Order 66. Okay, so episode 66, Order 66. What a iconic theme that we've got for our episode 66. Jimmy, what have you got for us?
Commander Curtis, the time has come. Execute Order 66.
Yeah. Do you think, first off, Jack, do you think that this is like one of the most impactful things in cinema? Like when you think about all of like I think the Red Wedding
Great
of like,
question.
Game of Thrones, um, like most impactful. Cause like when you're watching it, and that's going to be our first question. Do you remember seeing it for the first time? Like, we've sat with this for like 20 some years now. Do you think this
Yeah.
ranks up there with like the snap from Thanos, the Red Wedding from Game of Thrones? Where do you think that this
Oh,
sits for
mate,
you?
this is easily in the top five. It has to be. It has to be. Um, Such an iconic, not even a scene, but a thing to happen.
An
So
event.
many Jedi to get wiped out, an iconic event. You know, I think everyone's question was how has the Jedi just been, you know, wiped out or hunted down in one, not so much in one fell swoop, because obviously some of it didn't quite go to plan. But now we've seen the Rebel stuff and the Clone Wars stuff and other TV series. You know, the planning that Emperor Palpatine went into this, incredible.
Oh yeah, nuts.
Yeah, it was unreal. I think the first time I seen it, and I was in the cinema. Obviously, I knew what to expect, and obviously gave the order. I think what caught me out the most with this was how quick it happened. Literally, Cody giving Kenobi the lightsaber, Kenobi off the cliff. Seconds later, mate, they're firing cannons at him.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like that chip, and we'll get into some of that stuff in a little bit. But yeah, so we had a bunch of questions. We dropped a ton of socials on this.
Yeah.
And our first question was, do you remember the first time seeing Order 66 play out on screen? And some of our listeners popped in. Patrick Connor said, the first time seeing Order 66 was in theaters on opening day. As soon as the order was given and the music started, watching the Jedi get betrayed and cut down was terribly sad. I wept. Raul Fernandez says, honestly, I was just mad. I'm not the biggest fan of the PT. I still haven't made peace with the way the story was told. The Clone Wars in some ways has helped, in other ways hurt the way I feel about the PT and Revenge of the Sith in particular. So, all right, so there's some fans. Yeah. Yeah, you kind of said, Jack, how you saw it, like, devastating. I mean, I guess I wasn't ready for that to happen. I mean,
yeah.
Because Order 66 is such a part of our life now. We've seen so many, and we'll talk about it. And they did a good job in Clone Wars, I think. I think Raul was right there. Yeah. But building up to it, and one of the first clips we sent was the very first incident where that clone's chip malfunctions, and he goes up and he blasts that Jedi right in the face. And everyone says animation is for kids. But just the music is eerie. I mean, I still get goosebumps every time I see it. And just finishing off all those Jedi, like bam, bam, bam. And I think we're more connected to those Jedi now than we were when we saw it happen originally. So,
but I think as well, it is a masterpiece because, the music, it's so there, not in your face, but loud, and, you're starting to feel in the moment. And something else as well is you feel the pain when you see Yoda, grasp his chest.
Oh, yeah.
You sort of feel it. Can't even think about it now. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I know. So I'm sitting here like, just kind of like, oh my, yeah, that's rough. Because having to go through it and, making our clips and doing different things like that, I'm like, man, there's just. And I forgot about the Clone Wars thing. I forgot about the chip malfunction in the animated show and how they kind of really set that up.
Yeah.
And so I was just. Yeah. Still bothered by it, I guess I should say.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of emotional moments. Another question that we put out was, which Jedi's death hit you the hardest? Again, like Jimmy said, we put this out in the socials. As always, the listeners come out in their droves. We've got quite a few to read from. So we've got Chris VDM. Big shout out to the Belgian prop builders crew. He put none. Death to the traitors of the Republic. CT6651 obeys orders. Guess what one of his cosplays are? Stephen Robb. He's put Ayla Secura for the look on her face. Simon Spencer put Darman losing 18 and then not being able to escape the Sriracha homestead to look after his son Benku. Quite a mouthful there. Carl Kelly. Big shout out to Carl Kelly out in Cyprus. He put not being able to give it myself, so another Empire supervisor. We've got loads of people on here supporting it. Conrad Prince, I think fighting side by side with the Wookiees and then having to kill them all. Heads of the two commanders roll in heavy. These orchestrated wars, mate, never go or end well. And then the next one is Schmelin DJ. He's put Bad Batch, Episode 1. Deepa Boloba, that scream, run Caleb. Nice.
Those are all pretty solid, even those Imperial empathizers.
Yeah, so. Massively. I think for myself, the biggest one for me was Kai. he's like, "Come on, this way," and you sort
Oh,
of go, because he's sort of half and half between the droids or the separatists and the clones, and you're like, do something, you know. Plo Koon I could sort of live with because he went down quick. Happy with that. He's a favourite Jedi of mine. But Kai, I was like, oh man, he sensed it. He blocked one or two, and then he just got shot to smithereens.
you got lit up.
What about you, Jimmy?
Yeah, I think as far as from the movie, Ki-Adi-Mundi's is the worst because just
By
like you
far.
said, he's like, "Let's go," and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
sheep," and he turns
Yeah.
around and they just light him. He's got it coming from both sides.
Yeah.
Because like you said, like Ayla she senses it, but it's too late. They light her up. Master Indira, Indira, she gets like dropped back on the speeder bikes, and Plo Koon's kind of happens before he knows it. But yeah, I would have to say Ki-Adi-Mundi's is probably for Jedi Masters. Of course we've got the younglings and things like that. But
Yeah.
on screen for Revenge of the Sith, it definitely has to be Ki-Adi-Mundi.
Yeah.
He kind of got it what he deserved, though. He's kind of a little butthead, but yeah, that was a hard one to watch. And then I do agree with Schmelin. Watching like Depa Balaba and like those ones like that, those are tough to see too, because then you just think about it happening. And we've got a bunch of different ones, like the extended versions of Order 66, not in the movies. So we'll dive into those. But yeah, those are really good ones. So
yeah.
painful.
And like you mentioned, some of the extended ones. So we've got favourite extended scene from Order 66. Have you got a personal favourite, Jimmy?
Oh, I'm looking at the list that I came up with. And I did forget to put Seer and Trilla on here. So I forgot that one. But we got Jared, DePaul, and Cal. We got Caleb and Depa Balaba, Keller and Beck and Grogu, Riva. I am going to go. Keller and Beck. Seeing Ahmad Best come out as Keller and Beck was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
We got a lot of action. But my favorite action-wise is probably Ahsoka at the end of the Clone Wars because, she's stuck on a Imperial starfighter with 10,000, whatever clones, and she doesn't want to kill any of them, and it's her and Rex, and, we know how that ends, and I think that's one of the more powerful scenes that all stems from Order 66. So for me, it's probably going to be like Keller and Beck just because I was like, oh my God, as far as the extended stuff. I really love how the stuff in Jedi Fallen Order pushes the story with Cal Kestis. So I thought that was pretty good. And with Seer. So yeah, I've loved all of it. People complain about all the extras, but I think it's cool not cool. I think it's cool to see it happening different places. But what about you, man? What hits hard for you?
Yeah, the Ahsoka one's the biggest one by a country mile for me. Like you said, she's so close to Rex, he pretty much turns on her until she sorts that out. And then the fact that she doesn't want to kill any of them. But what hits home the most is the fact that at the end, spoiler alert, but Vader turns up a couple of years on or whatever, and he sort of senses of what's happened. That is a massive one. Keller and Beck and Grogu, that's a massive one as well. It's like a redemption thing, but not even redemption, Mars, but like a redemption for Ahmed Best. I love that.
It was more about him than the...
Yeah, it was more about him. And Cal Kestis one, that hit home. I'm a big gamer. I love the storyline for Jedi Fallen Order. That was a good one. That was a really good one.
Yeah, the only one that doesn't really hit hard for me was Riva because it kind of just ties in with like the youngling stuff, and I think she's a great actress. I just didn't think it really fit in the show, but her character was whatever, so it's not as impactful to me. But Anakin striking down the younglings and things like that. But yeah, I think they're all. I'm sure I've probably forgotten some from different games or things like that. But I think that every time they've shown it, it's been pretty impactful. Yeah. Kind of building on that event. It's just like all these other like TV shows. They're doing what they just did. A Quiet Place Day 0 or Day 1. Because people like to see the beginnings of stuff. So but yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I loved all those episodes, all those scenes, and those different video games and animated. And that's what's cool too, is we've got it not just in a movie. Like we haven't actually seen it in a movie other than, Revenge of the Sith, right?
No, we
So
haven't actually.
everything else is like TV shows, animated,
Yeah.
video games. That's pretty awesome that they're bringing it in those different ways. So I loved it.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Order 66. And I made one last reel because like we know the Star Wars is not real. Like we're sitting here talking like, oh, this hit so hard, and we get it. We get it. Like most people, if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably attached to some of those characters. You love Star Wars, and sometimes it's fun to dive into this. Like did this need to happen? And that was one of the questions I asked right towards the end. Did this event need to happen to reset the flawed Jedi Order? So then you got to get into, were the Jedi flawed? You look at it through Qui-Gon's eyes. Yes. You look at it through I'm trying to think of the character from The Rising of the Red Blades, even Barriss Offee, one of our favorites here on the show.
Dooku.
They all thought that the Jedi Order was flawed and focused on politics and war, and we saw some of that also in Acolyte. So it kind of really ties in some of the things that we've seen. So, Jack, before we answer this question, did you feel that the Jedi are flawed leading into this?
Yes.
When I say flawed, I mean kind of lost their way, lost their focus, I guess.
Yes, massively. And something to support this, again, quite a controversial point, is the Acolyte. We've seen how manipulative Vernestra Rwoh had become. There were, I don't want to say lazy Jedi, but they just weren't as diligent, I don't think, as some of them should have been. For sure. The High Republic, again, it's a time of war for them. This event needed to happen, especially for a Sith. And full credit to Palpatine and how he did this, and Darth Plagueis as well. But for a Sith to manipulate his way into working with the Jedi, and then getting the Jedi to work for him until he deemed, you've had your uses now. That's it. Yeah, the Jedi were massively flawed, I think, in my opinion. It was definitely required.
Yeah. Okay, and we'll get into more of that. We'll read off what some of the listeners have said on our Facebook page. These are kind of long, so stick with me. Schmeling wrote, if anyone has read the Dragonlance books, the trilogy of Caraman and Raceland, if not, you should. If the books, there was a character called King Priest and the followers of Paladin, very similar to the Jedi Order, a lost, corrupt religion where they struck down by the gods in the Cataclysm. In the Order, they bring balance back to the world. The Jedi needed to be decimated, but with some survivors to learn from the mistakes of the prior members. This would have worked out well for Star Wars if they had just let Luke start creating a new Jedi Order, having learned from the mistakes of the past, and still able to commune with prior Jedi. Unfortunately, this is absolutely wasted now that they made the sequels. They basically said that Luke is also a failure and learned nothing. In my opinion, Luke just needed a new foe to deal with, and he would have like the what is it, the Yuvong Zongs from the books, from the Legends books. What a terrible wasted opportunity. I kind of agree that this could have been. This is what happens when you make 3 movies without having any kind of plan for the future of Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
And then my dad, Big Ted, says Order 66 had to gain power just like the Democrats try to impose their woke order. So you know where he falls. Aaron Pannone, was it necessary to refocus the Jedi? I don't think so. I never got the impression from the books that the Jedi were corrupt as they had neared this point in their history, but they were certainly blind that they were being played and manipulated by things happening both in the Republic's political arena and from side of the Trade Federation, all orchestrated by Plagueis and Sidious. There were going to be 2 dark foes, master and apprentice, no matter what, based on Bane's rule. But this was the first time the Sith were so involved with the core politics to have this type of impact against the Jedi. Before they stayed in the shadows, Plagueis Sidious had so much control of their power that they could hide the detection of it standing in the front and around the Jedi. With no real issues, just my random thoughts. I think that's pretty powerful. But I do think
a good
that,
one.
doesn't that right there kind of show that they've lost their way? They're not
Yeah.
sensing the things that they should have at least felt weird when they're around them. But
Yeah.
there's that one. Aaron Kernat says, I do like how it played out. Wait, I'm sorry. I do like how it plays out in a way that isn't so dissimilar from our own reality. That is, that the powers that will be always find a way to convince those around them what the best avenue is to take. And if they can't sell the others on it, they simply take it by force. No pun intended. Art imitating life and life imitating art. And of course, Darren, get rid of those who are against you or who fear or you fear. It's replayed through the tyrants in our own world. For the Sith, it seemed to the only way, wipe them out, all of them. So yeah, Darren, and a lot of people here
Nice.
bringing in some real world issues with it, and I don't know. Like, those are some powerful comments. So thank you to everybody who chimed in on that one.
Great comments.
Yeah, a lot of great comments there. But did this need to happen, Jack? Like, does this need to?
Yeah.
You think so?
I think so. Like I said earlier, mate, they were a little bit ignorant. Palpatine managed to manipulate his way into working with and then getting them to do his bidding until he didn't need them anymore. And again, the acolyte for me sums up the ignorance and where the Jedi are at. So it did need a complete refresh. And like you said earlier as well, Dooku saw it coming. Qui-Gon to an extent saw it coming. Master Sarfa Diaz, I think, also saw it coming to an extent.
Yeah, he was having visions in. They played more of that in the Dooku Jedi Lost book.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think so. I think that one of these days we're actually going to do the episode we always talk about, the Jedi are their own worst enemies. But they really put themselves in position just to fail, and it's like a slow build. And you sit and you look back at all the High Republic stuff we've read. It's been written but published. Like, that just builds on to the fact that they're starting to kind of lose their way. It really sets this era of Jedi up, the Phantom Menace era of Jedi, up even more, because they dealt with that big, massive Nihil and the Drengir and all this craziness, and then they kind of settle into like the Jedi that we've seen during the Acolyte, kind of a mess. And if nothing big happens, we got our first viewing of Plagueis on the big screen, so he's getting ready to manipulate and get things ready. But I think that the Jedi were flawed. I think they lost their way. I think I think Barriss was correct. I think she handled it poorly. I think Dooku was correct. I mean, you can think about that speech he gives Kenobi in Attack of the Clones, right? He sits there and he's like, like, if your master was here, he would know. And I don't know if Dooku was wrong. Like, that scene, I think that Qui-Gon might have been like, all right, we need to reset things. But
how'd you do?
Yeah, I think it's just what a creative way to. I mean, sit there and again, we know it's not real, but to put your enemies in positions of power just to have it turned on them,
exactly,
bonkers. Like you said, it happens. Boom, or execute Order 66, and it is over.
Yeah,
and just done, and that is bonkers to me. So, and this kind of leads into our next question, which was it Schmelin said. Did they miss an opportunity with Luke Skywalker to reset the Order? I
get where his thought process is with this as well. I don't think they missed an opportunity with Luke to reset the Order. I think the biggest issue people have with Luke Skywalker is how he was killed off, personally. They definitely didn't want to use Luke Skywalker to reset the Order, because I don't think he knew enough about the Order to begin with, because obviously his lack of training, and it sort of leads on to the next question with Rey as well, which I'll talk about in a bit more detail. I don't think they missed the opportunity with Luke, but I think there's an opportunity to reset the Order in the future. What about you?
Yeah, you go back to, was it 2010, 12, when I know they purchased in 2014, right?
Mm-hmm.
They already had scripts and things like ready, I believe, and the movie comes out in like 17. If they would have thought about it a little bit more, planned things out, we know that's been a big criticism of the prequel or the sequels. There wasn't a big plan. if they had let Luke, I mean, the whole storyline's different. If they let Luke be the one who does it,
Yeah.
we'll get into that in a future episode, Old Man Luke. But yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of see your point too. Like, it would have changed the whole structure of the movies. I mean, it would have been more about Luke. I think it could have worked. Personally, if they would have done that.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think you're right, though. Like, we go into our next question. Like, will Rey be able to make these changes? And I thought, and I still, when they called it the Rise of Skywalker, I thought that the Jedi, the concept of Jedi was going to change to be called Skywalker, sort of like in the Thrawn books, where their kids have the power to use the Force and they kind of grow out of it as they get older.
Yeah.
They're called Skywalker. So I thought, well, maybe this is what this means. Like, she's going to raise this new school and they're going to be Skywalkers, not Jedi, and we're going to fix some things. I mean, I think this is what Kathleen Kennedy wants. I think that this is what some other people want. I mean, I know there's people out there who are going to be furious if Rey comes out to be the greatest Jedi ever or whatever.
Oh,
but,
God, yeah.
But, it's fine. Like, things have to happen. You got to build on these stories. And someone will come eventually and supplant Rey. Like, people who love Rey now, she'll end, she maybe she gets the ending she should. Maybe she doesn't. But, yeah, I think that should be the whole process of this next movie, is to set the future, because I want to see Jedi. I want to see lots of Jedi again. I want to see the stuff I'm reading in the High Republic with hundreds of Jedis and 10, 15 specific Jedis that are all handling things, and they're the main focus of some of this stuff. I want to see them battle a Nihil or a Yuuzhan Vong, and that's going to take Rey to do that. So I'm like, let's go Rey. I'm the biggest Rey fan right now, because I do think she, as an actress, Daisy Ridley, has gotten better each film. So she's done some other things outside of Star Wars. So let's go with this. Let's build on it. Let's and there's already rumors that it's going to be more about the kids she's training.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it could work, and that kind of brings me. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah. No, totally. They needed to steer away from the Skywalker stuff because, again, yes, things were there, things were written. The issue they've got, though, is age with all the actors, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill. So I get why he sort of didn't go down that streak, because I think it would have been what it was or is easier in their minds to do what they've done. I think they're going to try it now with Rey, and I think that's going to basically not divide the Star Wars audience, but it's going to be make or break for a lot of people. Some people will take to it, some won't take to it. Completely agree, do what you need to do. But yeah, I'm with you, mate. I'd like to see it about more different Jedi, have that High Republic story arc, different Jedi going different places, not just one killer Jedi that can defeat everything. Yeah, I'm more than down for that, even if it means Rey passing on the torch. I think that'll be absolutely brilliant. But what would you change about the order, Jimmy?
That's what when we were ranking these questions, and I thought, well, okay, so we need to fix this flawed order. What do we change? My biggest thing is some kind of way for these guys to communicate better, because you see it in the High Republic, you see it in the prequels. They're all afraid and they're all of being judged for the things of the Force, this mystical power that is guiding all of them in their different paths. It is weird to me because, I know people love the Jedi, but it is kind of a mess because, they have this Force that leads them. But if it doesn't go with mainstream, they're kind of outcast. We've seen it with Yoda in the Clone Wars episodes when he starts hearing Qui-Gon's voice. Everyone thinks he's losing his marbles and put him out to pasture. We've seen it in the books with for Nestor Rowe. She's hiding things because and I'm like, if the Force is telling you to do this stuff, I don't know how you fix that aspect of it. Some things with the not, I don't know, like some of the feeling stuff, like, not giving in, like the relationships and things like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can see how it can go both ways, but, they're messing with it in the High Republic right now. in Temptation of the Force, we've got some things that aren't not out of the ordinary for Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
But does that blow up in the next book? Because
Yeah.
this just kind of what Yoda talks to Anakin about in the prequels, attachments. And I wonder if that's a change or, there's some things like that. I just really think the openness of what they're doing and, everyone has their own path in the Force and that you shouldn't be judged for taking your path.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And that leads me into my thing that I'd change about the Order. So if I could change one thing about the Order, it's the way they control their emotions or express their emotions. Because to me, like you said, it's like Jedi are ashamed, scared, and don't want to show emotion. That's what I think it comes down to. Now, if I was running the Jedi Order, I'd have like a therapist, a Jedi Master therapist, where you can go to, and sit in the room and tell Yoda all your problems, and nothing further will come of it, unless it's something crazy. Is it like a communion thing as well, like in a church when you go inside that, you talk to the priest.
Oh
like,
yeah,
I have
you go
sinned.
to
That's it.
Yeah.
That's confession.
Confession.
So you go in there and it's like, right, Jedi Master, I have sinned, and it's like, right, my young Padawan, what is it? I've seen this young Jedi Padawan, I've fallen in love with her. Right, okay, don't do that. Right, done. Because it seems to be that the emotion wells up inside of him. Anakin is a prime case of this with Padme. And it just gets to a point and it's like a teenage kid. Rah! But at that point, they've got so much power and a weapon that can dismember people. So, if I could change something, I'd have a Jedi Master therapist.
Yeah, I kind of go right along with what I said too. Like, they've got to fix that communication. Like, I know they don't have attachments, but they do have lots of relationships that just get out of control and they just spiral, like you said, and any little thing. And it's just like any TV show or movie, like something small happens and then it just snowballs on these characters. Like, well, I'm not going to tell them this. Well, then that leads to this. Then that leads to this. And then the next thing it's bigger, 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 bigger. And then they're killing younglings. But yeah, I think, So, I mean, there's a couple of things. We've been talking about that since we started this podcast was the Jedi are a bit of a mess. But I think that would fix a lot of stuff. I'm not sure. We will, Tuesday night, Mike and I will be back on live Tuesday night from 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So here in Kansas time, 9 for Mike. So we want people to join us. If you listen to this in the afternoon, we're going to dive into Order 66 a little bit more, kind of talk about some of the surviving Jedi and like who might still be out there, who could show up in the Rey movie, kind of build on this topic a little bit. So that'll be pretty cool. So join us. Talk about that. Anything else? Those are going to be open. If we get off on a crazy tangent about Star Wars, like there's going to be no rules, no guidelines. We're just going to talk about whatever pops up. So.
Oh yeah. It is gonna be a good one. Again, then, as always, from myself and Jimmy, thank you so much to all the listeners, as always, for contributing, joining. If you want to join us, Explore the Force, all one word. Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Threads, and YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe. Like Jimmy said, Tuesday, 8 o'clock, Kansas time. It's going to be 2 in the morning, UK time. Make sure you get over there if you can, if you're working late or whatever.
Wayne popped up on the podcast, and we had a guy from Australia. So I was like, all right, that's cool.
The community's there, mate. It's growing, it's expanding. Yeah, let's get more people from more continents. That'd be amazing. But thank you so much. Again, like I said, thank you. So, from me then, you know what quote's coming here, Jimmy. You know what quote's coming in. Execute Order 66.
Oh, poor Jedi. And for me and Jack and everyone who sent in awesome thoughts and ideas about Order 66, we really appreciate it. For all of us, we have spoken. We'll see you guys next week.
See you later.